Alright, just a little disclaimer. This is the first that I've heard of this planet, or supposed planet, that was announced supposedly by NASA, and Scott also doesn't know for sure that this is the case. But it is included in this video, and it does appear to be, at least on the surface, a official NASA document stating that this planet exists. Now, whether the photos are legitimate or not, we're not sure. But Scott, granted that this is a legitimate issue and threat, what can we expect?
Well, not much you can do about it, and has it been there all along? This is the first time they even saw it. That's the thing. It could have been on the other side of the sun all this time. But I do know we're going through a bad part in the Milky Way, and when they start coming up with whopper names like, Local Fluff or Marshmallow, and so, that's hiding stuff. They're just coming up with, names out of thin air now, just so you won't find it in an engine search. Whatever, man, whatever. They're all run by a corporation, so it really don't matter.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, you look at Russia, okay, and let's get back over to Earth changes, because that no matter what happens in space, folks, it's only gonna make this effect of post-glacial rebound effect here on the planet worse. That's all it's going to do. And it's already moving fast. It doesn't need any help, but, we'll just roll with it. Now, we're starting to see massive thunderstorm events. And I said this almost 2 years ago. You're going to have unpredictable lightning like crazy. Now, you had an event up there in Canada, and Jeff the Canuck uploaded a vid. Man, it blew over his tent, blew over chairs, blew over awnings. I mean, it was just, something pretty powerful. And then I was getting reports from Colorado from one of my subs, and it goes, man, it made a rumble that lasted 15 minutes and no lightning, I'm going, now that's interesting. And then they had massive thunder event up there in Canada, over there near the East Coast. But the one in Russia, that one made me sit up in my chair. Okay, now, they've already been hammered with electrical storms last year, and you had that massive fire, that threatened or that burned up a lot of the brush in Chernobyl area. And, that stuff went airborne again and went right all over your ice pack. Like it matters now that Fukushima is just blowing flame from the pit of hell over there off that island. But, they had a nuclear reactor shut down from thunderstorm. Man, these nuclear reactors are shutting down all over the place for a cornucopia of earth change reasons. You had the one in Virginia that shut down because of a tornado. You've had the one in PA, which I believe was a spacequake, because the magnetic field's messed up. That's another thing that, NASA keeps confirming all the stuff that I'm saying. Because you have to look at this ice moving like a lead weight on a tire. You move it somewhere else, it causes sort of a wobble. But you also are dealing with bearings, okay? You get the bearing in the earth, and then you start shifting stuff on the top part. It starts to grind a little bit on the inner part. It starts throwing off the whole whack, and then you start seeing the magnetic field problem get worse and worse. And now they got a gigantic breach in the magnetic field. And this is straight out of NASA. My videos will actually take you straight to the NASA link, and you could see it.
Well, Scott, back to this Marshmallow, Planet Marshmallow. I'm looking at different things here. People want to know, is this Planet X? Is this Nibiru? What's going on?
Hey, man, all I can tell you is NASA called it a marshmallow. So it's a marshmallow. I mean, my focus is so much here where people are living, than out there. But, I definitely pay attention to what's going on out there, especially anything affecting the sun.
Mm-hmm.
That affects the earth. Now that we got this big blob out there, it may have been there all along. This may be their first picture of it. So, what implications are involved? I don't know. I have no track record or history to this thing, than it being here right now. You have a lot of myth, legend, and folklore, but, now it's in our face. Like Bob said, if it's confirmed and validated, and we'll just leave it at that for right now, I think it's the real thing. I don't see why it wouldn't be. It's...
Well, Scott, what would you say to the critics, though, out there that are skeptical of Nibiru, skeptical of Planet X, think it's all fear-mongering, doom and gloom, and that there's no real science to it? There's a lot of people out there like myself who are kind of on the fence, haven't wrapped their head around it. I keep an open mind with all of this stuff, but I'm not endorsing these ideas per se. But I do think it's something interesting, and I appreciate your expertise on Earth changes and also some of the stuff that's happening in space. But, Scott, what would you say to those skeptics out there that say this is just pseudoscience putting people in a state of fear? Kind of like the rapture people or whatnot.
Well, there's all kinds of churches out there, churches of thought. You got the Mighty Harp Church, and you got the Scalar Church, and the Tsunami Bomb Church, and there's all kinds of thoughts and everything else. You got the Nibiru and everything else. If you're an open-minded truther, then you're not a churcher. And, so that's the way I look at it. You can't turn it into a religion, man. It's these are the facts. Here's the science behind it. Take it or leave it. Document it or don't document. There it is. And that's how I lay my stuff out. I said, look, there it is. Like you had another, a 7.6 earthquake over in New Zealand off of one of the islands over there. And I know that place is sinking. And you had a 7.2 earthquake up there in Fox Island. And then somebody threw a video. Oh, it was Ellen and that caused that 7.6, It happened on the 6th, but we were projecting it for the 7th. And, okay, well, what about the Fox Island? You get what I'm saying? And then it has to be consistent. Well, I have a video up right now on YouTube that those two earthquakes just made me 12 for 12 on 7.0 or greater earthquakes. I just pointed out all the water pressure areas. Man, if the water gathers, the earthquake's coming. And, when I saw that pool of water off the coast of Greenland from that record melt last year, and it couldn't go nowhere because the ocean stalled. That Iceland volcano can't pop enough.
Wow.
Major pressure on that ocean floor. It already sent a tsunami in, to the UK. Man, that place is in major distress.
Well, 12 for 12, that's pretty darn good, Scott. Care to give us a prediction?
For what? Which area?
Well, what's coming up next?
Well, you have to look at it with everything the Earth's doing, man. All I did on that video was I pointed out all the spots where I saw an earthquake hitting of a big size just from water stoppage. And then you got the same dynamic with this double El Nino, and the water's coming in and in and in and in over and over and over again, into one area. And, it has a major history of seismic activity. I was over on the USGS site this morning, and they uploaded some stuff on the sand blows over there in New Madrid. And they were able to backtrack the records that, that they've been having earthquakes in that area for a long time.
Wow. And we'll also tell people about space quakes. You threw out that term earlier, and we'll tell them what that means. We've explained it on past shows, but we'll do it again for the new listeners out there. And we'll take some calls. If you have questions about your area and like to ask Scott anything, dial us toll-free, 866-841-1065. See you in just a second.
Keep my cool, make them think I'm made of stone.
Okay, let's pick it right back up with Scott from the Believers Underground. This is the Bob Tuskin Show. Scott, what else is going on?
Oh, let's see. You want to hear about space quakes? Space quakes are really easy, folks. The magnetic field overlaps, slaps, and sends an earthquake back to Earth, or a spacequake back to Earth. And that's because you're in orbital wobble. You know, if, like I say, you move that weight. Say the weight that Greenland lost last year, 400 gigatons. Okay, a gigaton is 1 billion tons. And that whole entire massive megacontinent is lifting up out of the ocean. That weight comes off, that continent rebounds back up, and that's why it's called post-glacial rebound. Now, and then I talk about the effect. Now, you got a whole bunch of nuclear reactors up the River Thames and over in Canada going down, I think Lake Ontario? And, and then you got the East Coast, New York. I mean, that area goes, if it stalls and that water can't go anywhere, man, that stuff's heavy as heck. If it's heavy enough to sink a continent, you think it's not heavy enough to sink geofragile zones in the ocean? Man, it's going to do it. It's a slam dunk. Unless that water is able to circulate, they got a huge problem on the East Coast. And then a new report was issued out of the Panama Canal area, when my son sent it to me, and he goes, man, how do you do that, man? That's he calls them home runs and base hits, and because I guess he's going through all my old videos, and he's like, dude, how'd you know? How'd you know? I'm supposed to know, That's why I tell the people and give them the credible links and the sources, and then I give them my projections. Even like my second bid, I said, volcanic activity is going to go up 200 to 400%, then this next time. And here I am 2 years and 2 months later or somewhere around there, and it's up over 410% now.
Yeah, exactly right. And Scott, people also trust you to call up with any questions, comments they have. And if it's all right with you, we have somebody on the call line, I just noticed, and we can get the calls throughout the show and throughout your various updates for tonight. So let's get the first call, and let's see here. Don't have a name for this caller. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
Pringles chips have enough nutrition for you to survive on.
Okay. Do you have a question? Do you have a question for?
Good ingredients. They only put good things, healthy things in there.
Do you have a question for Scott from the Believers Underground?
Oh, how come he doesn't believe in all the good things about Coca-Cola and Post cereals and everything like that?
All right. Well, thank you for your call, Scott. Did you understand what he was talking about?
Yeah, but it wasn't relative.
I didn't think so.
I'm glad he called in.
See what I get for taking a call unscreened?
It's all right, man. Hey, you gotta love them.
Yeah, well, it sounds like that individual drinks tons of fluoride and eats it up.
Well, hopefully not. But anyway, getting back over to the Earth changes, you are also got a double El Nino over here in the Pacific Ocean. And that Pacific Ocean is in a lot of trouble. You got the lower part, New Zealand area, even Australia got hit with a 4.4 earthquake the other day. You got another volcano ready to blow its stack up there in Iceland because the ocean floor sinks. It pushes the magma. It also pushes down on all the other piping systems. When you had the major five guys that talked about, that put forth their thesis, post-glacial rebound or isotonic adjustment or isostasis, it goes back from 1800s, how this weight is redistributed in